one, the only...
What is the good word for tonight, George?
Yes, I was just going to ask the duck to come down and let us know, huh?
Oh. And here's the word right here.
Ida Taylor and Charles McLaughlin.
How old was he?
Charles McLaughlin are waiting to talk to you, so put you in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra 100 clams, in case you're a fisherman. Howdy. Howdy. Ida Taylor and Charles McLaughlin, huh? McLaughlin?
That is right, McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, huh? Where are you from, Ida?
I was born down in Owsley County, Kentucky on a farm.
What'd you say? You were born on a lousy farm in Kentucky?
No, I
That's
said
not unusual, you know. According to farmers, most every farm is lousy. What was the matter with yours?
We planted corn and hoed corn and thinned corn, done everything but drink it.
You didn't drink it?
No, didn't drink it.
Why didn't you drink the corn? Did you prefer gin or bourbon?
No, my pappy was a preacher, and every darn thing you done was a sin. If you smoked, or if you wore cigarettes, or smoked cigarettes, or wore lipstick, it didn't make no difference. I had to wear my hair plumb down to my ankles.
Well, you can drink whiskey without cutting your hair. I gather you weren't too happy down on the farm, huh? What finally happened?
Oh, I was running around them there fields one day and climbed up that mountain. It was a pretty high mountain, you know.
Yeah, somebody was after you?
No, I wish they had been, but when I got to the top
What's the
of that
good of
mountain...
chasing up there? There was nobody after you.
Well, wait till I tell you what I found after I looked over that mountain.
Yeah.
Awfulest big world out there, so I just took off.
Well, what did you see on the other side?
A big world? I just took off.
You'd never seen that before?
Well, I didn't know it was so big.
So you just ran away down the mountain and ran away from home, huh?
I went plumb across the country, Groucho, and stopped in a little restaurant long enough to get a job as waitress. And...
You got a job as a waitress in a restaurant?
Oh, you can always get a waitress job.
And then you finally wound up here, is that it?
Yeah, I come
How long did it take you to get from this cornfield to Los Angeles?
About 3 months.
Now, how could you do all that in 3 months? How many jobs did you have?
Lord, I never stopped to count them. I just worked long enough to get from one town to the next as fast as I could go.
Did you ever hear that old joke about the waiter? The fellow goes in the restaurant and he has dinner and then he says, bring me a demi-tasse.
What?
A demi-tasse. It's Demitassse. That's French, you know, for a small cup of coffee.
Don't sound very good to me. Sounds like it's plumb vulgar.
Well, it was lousy coffee, but listen to the joke. So the waiter came back and brought him a big cup of coffee, and he says, I told you to bring me a demi-tasse. And the waiter says, well, drink a little. That's the way those things work out in those cheap restaurants.
I'm sure glad the rest of them understood you.
I'm sure glad I'm through with that, too. Your name is Charles McLaughlin. Well, I said that before, huh? Now, where are you from, Charlie?
From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, originally, Groucho. Right here.
They don't know that Milwaukee came in third last year, huh?
Republican delegation or Democratic or something.
Are you married?
I am married, Groucho.
Where'd you meet your wife, huh?
I met her in Detroit, Michigan. She was 8 years old and I was 9 years old. Or I think she was 7 years old and I was 8 years old.
That's rather an awkward age for romance, isn't it?
Well,
Girls are only interested in dolls.
Well, I should say...
And boys don't get interested in dolls for another 10 years.
Yes.
What kind of things have you done, Charlie?
Well, when I was in...
Did you go to college?
Well, yes, I went to college.
Did you flunk?
Well, I didn't do the greatest of all. I had a lot of part-time jobs. I used to work in the school office for part of my tuition. I worked as a waiter in the tea room, and then I worked in a beer joint on Saturday nights.
Hit in the chest by a ballet dancer.
Where did you get all that money from?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Boy, that'd buy a lot of booze, wouldn't it?
I bet you never got money in such a pleasant, easy fashion, did you? Huh? What is your line?
Well,
what is your racket? Let's put it that way. Huh?
Well, I'm a entrepreneur, and when I was... When I was in school, I used to work as a bacteriological analysis laboratory chemist.
What is an entrepreneur? Is that a high-class name for a crook?
Well, actually, in California, it's a legitimate term for an enterpriser, a promoter, business
operator,
organizer. Well, call it what you may. Yes, I believe you would call that.
In French, that means hang on to your wallets, folks. Here comes Slippery Charlie. Well, it's been very interesting, this chit-chat. I haven't learned anything, but let's play You Bet Your Life. George, bring out the questions. What was the category that they picked?
You selected dictionary quiz, right?
Now, Ida, you're the youngest. You pick the first one. You know, you got to win $500.
Go for the big one? Well, don't be backward. Tell me. I can. 300 over here in the pink.
$300 question.
Now, what is a martinet? M-A-R-T-I-N-E-T.
You better start talking. You talked yourself out of everything else. Now talk.
Is it a hat? A hat? A hat?
No.
Don't ask me,
No,
brother.
it's a strict disciplinarian, like a sergeant in the Marines.
Told you we better
Which
spell.
could be a martinet, a tough soldier, or a ruler, or an officer or something.
Now, I suppose you want another 300.
You got 3 more.
You have 3 more questions to make
What do
500.
you want to do? You want to go for another 300?
Well, I think
All
we
right.
should. Let's
This
try.
better
Why
be
don't
a-
you pick the next one, the one next to it?
over here.
This one there.
This one.
Yeah. Right.
Why did you
Then
see through
No,
it?
that's when you. You answered.
Me answered. I told you to
I missed
spell.
on the last one.
For $300, what is an abattoir? A-B-A-T-T-O-I-R.
I don't know. It could float around the ocean for all I know. You picked it. You answered. Them big long words you was using ain't done you much good.
Is it grammatical synonym?
Grammatical funeral?
Synonym.
No, it's a slaughterhouse. It's where they kill steers.
Well, why couldn't you just ask us where do they kill cows? It would have been much easier.
Ida, now don't get discouraged. You still got a good chance to get this money.
Yeah, all right.
Let's let him try another one.
All right.
You don't have to take it.
You have 2 more chances to make $500.
You got 2 more chances. You want to drop to blue and see if we can change your luck?
You want to do that?
All
You want me
right.
to? You want to go on?
Why don't you stick your hand in there? You got big words.
Okay.
This is a $200 one.
$200. What is a libation? L-I-B-A-T-I-O-N. There you guess.
You guess.
I guessed
Understand?
twice wrong. You guessed this time. What is it?
I thought you knowed what you was doing instead of guessing. Libation, I don't know. Sounds like a libel suit.
Right here, read it. It's a drink.
A drink. My goodness.
Well, you now have one
Will
chance
you buy
left.
me one after this show?
Oh, here, I'll get that.
You're going to get enough to get a drink out of this item.
I sure hope so, and I'm going to have a libation as sure as that the bartender knows how to mix it.
For $200, what is a prevarication?
That's a black lie.
That's
I know that because I tell them all the time. Don't you congratulate
well,
me?
didn't they win the secret word? You got the secret word? And you got $200 here, so you each got $150. There's $300 between you. That's not too bad, is
Will
it?
that buy me a libation? Have to chase me out
Ida,
to smoke.
it was nice seeing you.
Thank you, Groucho.
You're real
It was
cute,
my
huh?
pleasure.
Groucho, Oney Boren and John Granger are standing by to talk to you. So, folks, you men please and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide an extra $100, which will come out of George Fenneman's salary. How do you... Oney Boren and John Granger, huh?
Yes.
Now, which one are you?
I'm Oney Boren.
Oh, Oney Boren, and you must be John Granger, huh?
Correct.
It's a strange name, Oney Boren. Is that a nickname?
No, that's my real name. I was named after my father.
You are. You're named after your father, huh? course you were named after your father. Very few children that I know are named before their father. Where are you from, Oney?
Dallas.
Dallas, huh?
But I was born in Greenville.
You were born in Greenville?
Uh-huh.
Greenville is South Carolina, North Carolina?
Texas.
Texas. Well, there are other Greenvilles. Now, you're Red Granger, is that right?
Correct.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
John Granger. John Red Granger, huh?
That's right.
How long have you been sporting that alfalfa?
Took me about a year to grow this.
How old are you, Granger, John?
Oh, 74, Mr. Marx.
74. Oh, you don't look it. You look 84. Where are you from originally, John?
Born in a territory. It's now a state.
You
Aberdeen, South Dakota.
You were born in South Dakota when it was a territory?
Yes, sir.
And now it's a state, South
Yes,
Dakota? I didn't know that. Well, here we go again, folks. Throw away your flags. We got another star to add. What kind of a beer do you call that?
Spade.
A what?
Spade.
2 clubs. Yeah, I was talking to a man who suddenly find myself playing bridge. Why do you bother with whiskers, John? Are you hiding from the public, or are you trying to be a beatnik? Or is it a weak chin?
Yeah, they're a terrible nuisance, I admit. It's like living in a bird's nest. I don't like it.
Why don't you like the beard?
Just because it gets into the soup, gets me in the soup in more ways than one. I'm in the soup with you already for having a beard.
I don't think so. I find you a rather attractive man, John.
Well, thank you. On account of the beard?
Well, no, but I think it's a contributing factor. I think it gives you a nice, gives you a rather virginal look.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't quite know what that means myself. John, I take it you're something of a philosopher, am I right? You
Correct.
seem to have a very philosophical
Correct,
attitude
yes.
towards life. Could you slip us a little philosophy? I haven't had any all day. What's your attitude towards life, liberty, and the pursuit of girls?
The purpose of life is
To pursue girls, I know.
and to help. I'm serious now.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Okay. Help in creating peace throughout the world, brotherhood of man, and the kingdom of heaven on earth.
Well, that's a very lofty philosophy. Do you have any immediate goal in life, John?
Well, confidentially, I expect to go to Las Vegas and break the wheel.
My guess is you've got a much better chance of entering the kingdom of heaven than you have of beating the wheel in Vegas. Now, Oney,
I think he's right on that.
I've been neglecting you, Oney, not because I haven't done this deliberately, because you're a very attractive-looking woman, but...
I'm dull after Dr. Granger.
No, I don't think so. Are you
Yes,
married,
I am.
Oney?
Yes, I am.
You are. How long you been married?
22 years.
Well, you don't look it. How did you meet your dearly beloved? Was it love at first sight?
No, it certainly was not. He thought I was about the silliest thing that he had ever seen in his life, and I thought he was the dullest.
Well, why did he think you were silly? Huh? What did you do that gave him this impression?
Talk.
Oh. After 22 years, does he still think you're silly and you think he's dull?
Well, we've been married for 22 years, and we have 3 children, and I expect to stay married 104 more to the same man.
You're going to have 104 more children, you said?
No,
What did you
years
say?
of married life.
Oh, well, what
with
kind of...
one husband.
Oh, well, that's very interesting and most unusual. Now, what kind of work was your husband doing when you married him?
He was an attorney,
Uh-huh.
but he's now in oil.
He was an attorney and he's now in oil?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's one thing a lawyer doesn't need, it's oil. They're slippery enough as it is. What do you mean he's in oil? Is he a sardine?
No, Groucho.
Well, how come?
Well, I tell you,
Well, I wish you would.
after 15 years of married life, every Monday morning...
You
he'd-
said you were married 22 years.
I know, but this was before he went in oil.
What happened?
When we've been married 15 years,
Every Monday morning, he'd yank me out of bed and say, Oney, you're overdrawn again at the bank. This is how much I make, and this is how much you have to live on.
Mm-hmm. You had your own checking account, huh?
Just strangle me. Well, one Monday morning was one too many. And I said, Sam, I want to tell you something. I am not overdrawn. You're under-deposited.
Spoken like the typical American wife. Well, what happened, Oney? Did he strike oil or did he strike you?
Well, he drilled and hit his 62nd straight well.
He hit 62 wells in a row? He got oil in the whole 62?
Mm-hmm.
And when you first met him, you thought he was dull, huh? Well, now I understand why your attitude has changed. My attitude towards your husband has changed in the last few seconds. I have a business deal I'd like to talk to him about. I happen to have an opportunity to invest some money in Cuba. And now, Oney, has all the financial success interfered with the happily married life?
Not at all.
Sometimes it does, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The husbands get kind of jumpy when they get rich and after they're married a while. What's your philosophy about marriage?
Well, Groucho, you just have to stay in there and fight a little harder and work a little harder for everything you believe in.
You have to stay in there and fight?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, your marriage is no different than any other marriage. The only difference is you're fighting for a bigger purse. Now, if you were to crack up, would you get 31 of these wells?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. This is a ridiculous question to ask a woman whose husband has 62 wells, but do you have any problems that we could discuss publicly?
One problem, Groucho, that I'm sure everyone else
You have
has.
a problem,
Yeah.
honey? Well, let's hear the problem.
Everyone else has
Is she cutie?
about the same.
What's that?
No one in my house can find anything.
Not even money?
No, my son will say, where's my hot rod magazine? Where are my pants?
If he can't find his pants, you don't have a problem. He does. You mean they're all slobs? Mm-hmm. They all throw everything around? Mm-hmm. That happens in many homes. Mm-hmm. They'll get over that when they get older, you know. I don't mean your husband, I mean the kids. Oh. Since your husband has been so successful in business, Oney, I assume he's not afflicted with this malady, is he?
He is worse than any of the others.
You
in
hear
fact,
that?
He can't find anything.
He found 62 wells in a row, didn't he? Who cares whether he can find his pants? You know, Oney, if a man has 62 wells, he doesn't need any pants. Well, you're both nice people, and I'm glad you're rich, Oney.
Well, Groucho.
It's fun to have money. It isn't the only thing, but it helps. And to go on talking to you, but the time has come for you to, and Gentleman Jim over there, to win some money. George, Mr. Fenneman, would you mind bringing out the questions for this wealthy couple? What category did they select?
Professions of famous people, right?
Yes, sir.
You want to play the game?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start with $100.
Now, you know, you can talk it over with the answer. You know. For $100, what was the profession of John Keats?
Wrote poetry.
He wrote poetry, yes. He didn't have any Keats, you know. He was a bachelor.
You have $100. Yeah, the object of the game is to get 5, you understand? You have...
For $100, what was the profession of Florence Nightingale?
Nurse.
She was a nurse, that's right.
You now have $200 and 2 more chances to make $500.
That's what the fellow said in the hospital. He took a turn for the nurse.
Another $100 question.
I told you there were going to be old jokes here tonight. For $100, what was the profession of Oney Pyle, P-Y-L-E?
He was a sports writer.
Journalist.
Journalist, reporter, writer, that's good enough. And a great one, too.
Now you have $300.
300. But you have to acquire 5 if you want to go for the big money so you can be independent of your husband.
Take it.
There we are. And that'll do it, if you get it right. For $200.
For $200, what was the profession of Hippocrates?
Medicine.
Yeah, that's good enough. Physician, doctor.
And
He
you
came through in fine shape, didn't he?
Yes, you did.
wound up with
Don't you
500.
think you ought to stroke his beard for answering that question?
Good luck.
Watch it, your old man's out there. It's like we hit him with an oil well, eh?
Well, you wind up with $500, which means you'll be back a little while to try for $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000.
Spoken real good, Judge. You did that fine. Well, goodbye. We'll see you later, huh? See you later, Gator. George, here's the big question. Who's going to try for the big Mazuma?
Oney Boren and John Granger won $500, so they have an opportunity to try for $2,000, $5,000, or $10,000.
Okay,
Come on,
well,
folks.
bring him in. Bring him in. All right, now one of you pick a number for $10,000. Anything from 1 to 10.
3.
3. Put up a 3, George. Now you pick a number for 5.
2.
2. Now, if any number other than those two comes up, this question is worth a total of $2,000. Ready? One of you give it a spin. Well, the numbers were 3 and 2, and it landed on the $10,000 one. So if you get the question right, you're going to wind up with a total of $10,000.
Why don't you just give it to us and not even ask us a question?
Oh, you're going to have to fight hard for this one, huh? Education today is suffering some sharp knocks. Well, let's see how much you learned in school. For a total of $10,000, tell me what you call the result obtained when you divide the dividend by the divisor. One answer between you.
Quotient.
Quotient is right. I thought I had some dope up here, huh? And, of course, money always goes to money. Now you can get divorced, huh? You're independent now. Well, you want a total of $10,000. What are you going to do with your part of the swag, Oney? You going to give it to your husband?
So he won't be under-deposited?
Yeah. What are you going to do
Well,
with it?
Groucho,
You
I
spend a
have-
lot of his. Why don't you give him some then?
Well, I think I'll pay him back, maybe.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of charities in Dallas. that
Oh?
I'm real
Not the
interested in.
Groucho Marx endowment fund.
Yes, that's one of them.
And you, Skipper, what are you going to do with your load?
Well,
Don't go to Vegas with that money.
Well, I was just going to ask your advice if it'd be all right to go to Vegas, but you don't think so.
No, I would all right to go to Vegas, but don't stop. Go right through.
Does anybody?
Go right through to Boulder Dam or someplace. Don't stop at Vegas.
Okay,
All right.
I'll remember.
You're going to need that money, and I'm glad you won it.
Thank you, sir.
I can't say I'm too happy about you winning it. You're a nice woman, but a guy with 60 oil wells. Well, congratulations anyway, and thanks for being
Well,
with us.
thank you, Groucho.
It was nice to meet you.